the end of the week, he postponed the Phoenix trip because of his health. Weighing himself on a penny scale, he saw the slow, gliding red arrow point to 165. He groaned. Why, I've weighed 175 for years. I can't have lost 10 pounds. He examined his cheeks in the fly-dotted mirror. Cold, primitive fear rushed over him in odd little shivers. You, I know what you're about, you! He shook his fist at his bony face, particularly addressing his remarks to his inferior maxillary, to his cranium, and to his cervical vertebrae. You damn thing, you! Think you can starve me? Make me lose weight, eh? Peel the flesh off, leave nothing but skin on bone, trying to ditch me so you can be supreme? Ah, no! He fled into a cafeteria. Turkey dressing, creamed potatoes, 4 vegetables, 3 desserts. He could eat none of it. He was sick to his stomach. He forced himself. His teeth began to ache. Bad teeth, is it? He thought angrily. I'll eat in spite of every tooth clanging and banging and rattling, so they fall in my gravy. His head buzzed. His breath jerked in and out on a constricted chest. His teeth raged with pain, but he knew one small victory. He was about to drink milk when he stopped and poured it into a vase of nasturtiums. No calcium for you, my boy. No calcium for you. Never again shall I eat food with calcium or other bone-fortifying minerals. I'll eat for one of us. Both. Not both, my lad. 150 pounds, he said the following week to his wife. Do you see how I've changed? For the better, said Clarice. You were always a little plump for your height, darling. She stroked his chin. I like your face. It's so much nicer. The lines of it are so firm and strong now. They're not my lines. They're his, damn him. You mean to say you like him better than you like me? Him? Who's him? In the parlor mirror, behind Clarice, his skull smiled back at him behind his fleshy grimace of hatred and despair. Fuming, he popped malt tablets into his mouth. This was one way of gaining weight when you couldn't keep other food down. Clarice noticed the malt pellets. But, darling, really, you don't have to regain the weight for me, she said. Oh, shut up, he felt like saying. She made him lie with his head in her lap. Darling, she said, I've watched you lately. You're so badly off. You don't say anything, but you look hunted. You toss in bed at night. Maybe you should go to a psychiatrist, but I think I can tell you everything he would say. I've put it all together from hints you've let escape you. I can tell you that you and your skeleton are one and the same. One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. United you stand, divided you fall. If you two fellows can't get along like an old married couple in the future, go back and see Dr. Burley, but first relax. You're in a vicious circle. The more you worry, the more your bones stick out. The more you worry, after all. Who picked this fight? You or that anonymous entity you claim is lurking around behind your alimentary canal? He closed his eyes. I guess I did. Go on, Clarice. Keep talking. You rest now, she said softly. Rest and forget. Mr. Harris felt buoyed up for half a day, then he began to sag. It was all very well to blame his imagination, but this particular skeleton, by God, was fighting back. Harris sent out for M. Monaghan's office late in the day, walking for half an hour until he found the address. He caught sight of the name, M. Monaghan, initialed in an ancient flaking gold on a glass plate outside the building. Then his bones seemed to explode from their moorings. Blasted and erupted with pain, blinded, he staggered away. When he opened his eyes again, he had rounded a corner. M. Monaghan's office was out of sight. The pain ceased. M. Monaghan was the man to help him. If the sight of his name could cause so titanic a reaction, of course M. Monaghan must be just the man. But not today. Each time he tried to return to that office, the terrible pains took hold. Perspiring, he had to give up, and swayed into a cocktail bar. Moving across the dim lounge, he wondered briefly if a lot of blame couldn't be put on M. Monaghan's shoulders. After all, it was Munnigant who'd first drawn specific attention to his skeleton and let the psychological impact of it slam home. Could M. Munnigant be using him for some nefarious purpose? But what purpose? Silly to suspect him. Just a little doctor trying to be helpful. Munnigant and his jar of breadsticks. Ridiculous. M. Munnigant was okay. Okay.